Me.
Hey, Twitter says we're live on NoDQ.
We are live.
There you go.
We
are live.
What are we
Live,
doing
pal.
right now?
Well,
Hello?
let me tell you something, brother.
Ding
Oh, wait,
dong.
we're live. Aaron, you might want to start the intro then.
Yeah,
We're all a
push
bunch
the
of
button.
marks.
We are a bunch of marks.
Oh, just
Especially
wait.
Jeff
Just
Meacham.
wait.
Yep.
You can imagine.
Oh boy.
Me. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What?
Testies, 1, 2, 3.
Tito's a
All right.
mark.
Let's get
Loud
the
and
show
clear.
going.
Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 349. I am the ORM Virtue, the original review moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel of the review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, traveling on the road, but he's still doing the show. Jeff Meacham is here, Noah Foster, and Gino, co-moderator. What's up, everybody? What's up, Noah?
Same stuff, different day, but that's okay. What's going on, NoDQ fam and Galaxy? Good to see y'all once again. It's another time to speak wrestling on the review, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of super chats to drive Virtue insane in the membrane too. So it should be another fun Tuesday night. Overall, the heat's died down, so I'm feeling good. It should be a fun conversation.
All right, well, stay tuned. Gino, what's up?
Not too much. So today is my 1-year anniversary of joining the NoDQ review. It was number 298 on August the 18th last year. Best decision I ever made, submitting that audition tape to Aaron, having the courage to do that. So thank you so much for welcoming me in NoDQ Galaxy and all the panelists that we've had over the year.
Well, thanks for being on, and thanks for co-moderating, and of course, Colin as well. I should be seeing him and Aaron tomorrow in person.
Nice.
So, I'm sure Aaron will snap a photo, put it online, like, look where I've been, look at our food. Anyway, Jeff, what's up?
It's a good day, brother. I just finished an interview with a longtime friend that I've been working on for a couple of years. We're going to plug that at the end of the show. That's going to go up Friday night. And then, all the things on the horizon coming up. I got most of it behind me here. Well, life is good, Virtue. I tell you what, man. I'm happy to be here, of course. Happy anniversary to Gino. This has been like a big anniversary week. I got a lot of stuff that I talked about in the interview with my buddy Ariel. Well, again, I'll go more into that later, but it's a good day. I want to talk a little wrestling, as we do.
Yeah, we will. Got some topics that I came up with. We'll see how they go.
Yes.
Aaron, what's going on?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion. I just realized we're on 349. Next week will be 350. I'm not sure who's moderating or what we got planned, or if we're going to have different moderators for different portions of the stream. We'll have to talk and discuss that for next week. Jeff, what are you thinking?
Well, I was just saying, the long show we did where I was at the casino with Paradise Kitty, that was 200, right?
Might have been.
Where you guys, we started this show before the concert. We did the whole concert. Then you guys were still going after I was done. That was 150 episodes ago. That's crazy.
I think it's Colin's turn, right, Gino, next week?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he can't, for whatever reason, then you got the 350 spot. So that's how we're going to do it. So
No pressure.
All right.
No pressure,
And
bro.
before we get started, I do want to acknowledge a couple of super chats from Raw's stream. I missed a few people. I was having some issues with StreamYard. We'll go through it real quickly. And by the way, also, I hope you guys enjoyed the warm-up at the beginning. If you would like to sponsor a warm-up, feel free to super chat a comment and say you would like to be the sponsor of next week's warm-up for 350, and we'll make sure to give you a plug in that warm-up. But anyways, a couple of super chats here, and it's related to Dominic, so maybe we can just go around real quick and get everyone's thoughts. Caleb Jacobs sent in $2.28. He said, I feel like AJ Styles will dethrone Dominic Mysterio. And then Dave Scheffler sent in $5 and said, do you think Finn Balor turns babyface and not Dominic by the look on Finn's face when he saw Dominic with El Grande Americano? So I guess the two-parter here is, will AJ Styles win that title from Dominic, the IC title? And will Finn Balor be the one that turns face and not Dominic? Jeff, what do you think?
$7 worth of an answer. I love where it's going, wherever it's going. I love the back and forth with AJ and Dominic. I watched Triple Mania, and just the pop Dominic is getting is astounding to me. But I'm here for it. I personally think Balor should remain heel. I just think that him being, jealous about everybody outshining him in the Judgment Day just fits better with him than Dominic. Dominic's organically being turned babyface, so just let it happen. Let it happen.
I agree 100%. I think Dominic will drop the IC title and then win the AAA title. And
yes.
I expect Balor to stay heel. I think he does a great job with it. Dominic's naturally going to the babyface role, and I think it's just a matter of time. Noah, any thoughts? Or Gino, you want to go first? Go ahead.
Yeah, AJ is going to get the title, and then he's going to try and beat up John Cena one last time, and Cena's going to finally get the Intercontinental title.
Ooh,
interesting theory there.
Okay.
No, anything you would like to add to that?
I wasn't figuring that, but that's clever because that is, of course, the one title, similar to Sheamus, that he's never gotten it. But I also think AJ Styles and Seth Rollins trying to break this whole monotonous circle of division would also be a fresh take. But I do think it makes sense considering he might be on the last run in WWE. AJ takes the title from Dominic. And outside Seth, you really don't have any other big heels on Raw than Finn Balor. So Finn staying heel makes sense here. Honestly, I think we're just on the verge of another Judgment Day betrayal where Finn wants to be the end-all, be-all, and once again, he's not. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley previously was. Now Dominic Mysterio right now is. So I do think a Dom versus Finn program is going to happen, but I don't think it needs the Intercontinental Championship.
All right, and Virtue, any other thoughts on that? And then we can get to your topics.
Yeah, IC title. It's a third-tier prop. Seth Rollins has the True B title. I mean, they're trying to make it more important, but let's be honest, Cody's title is the most important. So whoever has the IC title, don't care. It's a prop to elevate people. So usually baby faces don't need it. Heels usually do. And what was the other topic? Dominic Mysterio being heel or baby face? Well, look at WrestleMania. Like, what are they waiting for?
Yeah, I agree.
Lives out hurt. Now's the time to do it.
Yeah, seriously.
But hey.
Caleb Jacobs sent in a $2 super chat, so let's get to that. Caleb said, how about a forgiveness angle between Dominic and Rey Mysterio? I think it's going to happen. Jeff, you don't think so? Why not?
I think Dom needs to be the one to end Rey's career. Unmask him and be done. Rey will finally retire with his 45th knee surgery, whatever the hell it is at this point. And I think Rey being forced to WWE unmask at the hands of his own son, whether he turns babyface or not here in the next little while, I still hold out hope that that's the angle, because what more can Rey Mysterio do at this point than give his son that final rub and have him be the one to cost him his mask? That's what I would do.
Gino?
Yeah, I think that if we're buying into the Finn versus Dom, if Finn has a title that Dom could want, and he's going to need a tag team partner, what better way to turn Dom true babyface than have him reconcile with his father?
Valid. Okay. That's valid.
All right. Anybody else? And then if not, we'll get to Virtue's main topics.
I still think Rey and Dom's an end game, but I feel like at this point, it might as well be passing the torch. You are the next Mysterio to carry on the family legacy. Yep. Other than that, don't have much more to say.
All right, Virtue, throw it over to you.
All right, well, what would be a week of me moderating without talking about Roman Reigns? But here's the catch. It's not the main event. We're talking about it first because WWE is not portraying him as a main event right now. And I know at WrestleMania Night 1, he's still main evented. But I'm all about the aura that he has and being a special attraction, showing up for big events and matches, that aura is there. But the problem, now that he's this baby face, now that he's not like in the main event scene, only showing up for pops once in a blue moon, like when you're going to have a pay-per-view match, PLE match, it just doesn't do it for me. Not his fault, just the way they're booking. You know, it worked as a heel, the leader of the bloodline, but like now, like it's like he's afraid. Like, what are you waiting so long to show up for? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you going for the title? Why are you worrying about your shoes? You can have 100. Let him take 10 pairs of shoes. You can buy 100 more. And it's just, they're buying time, right? So we're going to have to get to Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season. But it just, sometimes it sucks. And, the people that would probably like this, well, he's elevating Braun Breaker and he's going to elevate Bronson Reed and stuff. But, like, maybe Roman Reigns is above elevating those two guys right now. Now, if they work their way up to the main event and then eventually challenge Roman Reigns or got in a match with him there, then Roman could elevate him. But this is clearly, we don't know what to do with Roman. He's got limited dates, part-timer, he's got movies to make. And I'm just sick of this redundant, he gets beat up, he's off for a month, but then he comes back and does something like last night, and then he's going to have a mid-card or opening match. Roman Reigns is above this. And Triple H, like, shame on you for not making something a little bit better with a legend like him. But what's everybody else's thoughts, right? I get it. It's buying time to get him to the next year's big events. But, like, if we get the Mania season next year and he ain't, like, night 2 main event again, it's like, Triple H, you suck. You suck, and you're just playing to the pop. You have your favorites, and it's clear. And you're going to start getting criticisms like Vince McMahon got criticism. So, if you're supposed to be this great promoter of the year type guy, Vince had his favorites. Book all of them strong, right? You can. The Attitude Era proved that. We had like 10 main eventers, didn't we, guys, in the Attitude Era?
Oh, yeah.
Just in WWE, maybe not 10, but like at least 6 or 7. So Noah, I want to see Roman Reigns all the time, and I like when he comes back. But this redundancy of he gets beat up, he misses a few weeks, and then he finally shows up to do something. Oh, man, it's just like, it's deflating to me. My bar is set above the glass ceiling for him. Go ahead, Noah.
I think it's one of those things, though, where, like you said, it might be the slow burn. You think about the biggest marquee moments he's involved in. It's usually at the Big Four: Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. This year, though, the biggest SummerSlam ever, he was the opener of night, what was it, 1? I can't remember. They all blur together. But nonetheless, it is one of those things where the redundancy may be there, but at least he's not losing that mystique. When that burn happens, the place goes ballistic. So at least there is that recognition on his star power there. You were clamoring for possibly a Bronson Reed or a Braun Breaker singles match, even as maybe a mid-card. And here we are going to a mid-card PLE where he might face one member of the Vision. It almost feels like to me they might put him literally on a hit list against the Vision and save Seth Rollins last. So again, maybe that is the long game. Seth and Roman one-on-one. But do you do that at Royal Rumble? Do you do that at the WrestleMania? Can you push that as far as WrestleMania? Because that would be a marquee main event for the first night. But it just feels to me right now, they're just spinning their gears. They already did Roman and Jay. Now we have literally Punk, LA Knight, Roman going one-on-one Bronson Reed, Punk and LA Knight involved in the championship match. Roman not involved there. It just feels like to me they're just buying time, but it's a matter of how much time do you literally give before you give that top marquee main event match, and does it still have that same prestige in booking that it would right now? I almost feel like it's almost like, okay, we're on the road to Survivor Series. When's Roman showing up? Wait for it. He's here. It is kind of just suspending that disbelief of you don't know when he's going to show up and exact revenge and be the top dog that he is. And never mind, we're just going to put him on HPLE against somebody, and then he gets beat up the following time and just repeat the cycle. It is kind of making Roman Reigns' importance a little bit more mid to me.
Like, I'm excited to see him in these movies, but that takes a long time. And when these movies come out, and I'm sure he's going to get more gigs, and we're going to see him. I mean, but I feel like I'm seeing Cody in more stuff than him right now. It's like, what the hell is going on? And I know he's got a lot of kids, and he likes to be at home. And he's the one that got that contract, and they let him have it. So that's part of it. But, he was always on that limited contract for the last several years, and the bloodline stuff, he was still gone, but yet it was like he was always there. And they just don't film anything anymore and use it for footage for future shows or like via satellite.
Nope.
Look, I get it. You don't have to have them on every week. I know the days of the Attitude Era, Crash TV, having Austin on 4 or 5 segments in a 2-hour show, I get it. Those days are gone, but you could still have him part of shows when he's not even there if you're a little more creative. Film some stuff at his house. You know, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, wrestling, there are no laws and rules. They break them all the time. So have Bronson Reed go to Roman Reigns' house wherever he lives and steal a bunch of shoes. Like, build stuff up that way. But anyway, Gino, what do you have to say?
Thank you, Virtue. So as far as the question goes, redundant, yes. Hype as heck for those live crowds, also yes. And you mentioned the Attitude Era, and you mentioned Stone Cold. I remember Stone Cold being summoned by crowds many times, but I don't remember him always being written off TV. Sometimes he was arrested, came back, whatever. But just like you said, it's about the clips. And honestly, the Stone Cold Steve Austin clips of him entering for saves are still my favorite things to watch. So it's like they're trying to like replicate that, but they're not doing it right in the moment for the TV viewers. Kind of makes him look weak to continue to get injured and not showing up the next week or for 5 months from WrestleMania to SummerSlam or whatever the timeline is, couple months, however it is. But however, similar to the point I'm going to make him on the next topic, the clips, I do believe, will stand the test of time.
Yeah, and it's like and we know too much as fans. Like, we know he's supposed to film Street Fighter in September, so whether he has this match with Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris and goes over, gets his shoes back, and then the next night on Raw gets beat down, Bronson Reed gets his shoes back, and then now Roman's beat up and he's out again. Like, I just feel like it's so predictable because what else can they do? You can just have somebody win and go out on their own accord and then come back. You don't always have to write them off TV. Just wait until we talk about, and I know, Gino, you want to go first on this, the Naomi thing last night. But anyway, stay tuned. I got to go over to Jeff next for the Roman Reigns discussion of the redundancy of getting hurt, coming back and making a save a month later.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this in the car today on the way over here to the studio house to do this. It's becoming a thing. What are we going to see more of? Jeff Meacham pictures with Mickey Mouse or Roman Reigns returns graphics? It's getting close. I'll tell you, it's getting close. But yeah, I never mind having a Roman Reigns pop. Hell, my 17-year-old son, who is kind of, whatever about pretty much anything outside of his own interests, those drums hit on Raw Netflix premiere, and he stood up and threw the one up with everybody else, and it completely mesmerized me that he did that. No provocation, just he did the thing. I'm like, oh, I filmed him more than I filmed Roman's entrance. I was like, yay. But when you do it enough times, like they've been doing here lately, it does get very redundant. Aaron on his streams has made a side career out of talking about those graphics. It's absurd how many times he's returned since he became the tribal chief or the OTC or the OTC1 or whatever the hell they're calling him this week, whatever. I am all for getting a pop for Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns. I am so glad they finally found a way to pull that trigger on him 5 years ago. But it's going to come to the point where even the casual fans are going to, okay, this is happening a lot, and it's kind of silly at this point.
Especially no payout, Jeff.
You mentioned him at home. Hell, there's another one on the way. Uncle Joe can be home babysitting while Big Jim and Naomi are back in the ring doing their thing. Why not? Just something different.
I mean, they're on Netflix. Like, it's not like a break entering is like going to be bad or something and piss parents or like, just don't do anything like bad, like back in the day with the Undertaker Stalker stuff. And you know what I mean? Like, you can, you have like, remember Triple H Orton?
I was going to say, you can go Triple H Orton, you just don't go Pillman Austin. You just, there's a line you go across.
Yeah.
Go in the house.
Change the scenery too. Like, this is the island of relevancy. This is where, people get into that kind of stuff. Like, exactly. I mean, I'm all for privacy, but come on, they've been going to wrestlers' homes for years, and you can even do it at makeshift mansion and pretend it's Reigns' house. Like, you don't have to do his exact one. Yeah.
Nope.
You rent one out for the day. Yeah.
Blur the line. Just don't cross it. That's all.
All right, Aaron.
Not much else to add to what has already been said. I think you guys made some great points. Gino?
Yeah, just you mentioned that he's filming in September for the movie. Cody
Supposedly.
Rhodes.
I don't know.
Well, Cody
Another
Rhodes, the
injury angle.
actual WWE champion right now, is currently filming, and they released an image of his like shadow with his hair for the character that he's playing. So if he can go out on W's and then go film, why can't Roman Reigns?
But Gino, here's the difference. Cody doesn't have his contract is to be there every show. Roman has X amount of dates built in his contract. Like
That's
he
true.
paid his
Fair
dues,
enough.
main eventer, went through all the bullshit with the Vince McMahon Shield post Shield push, got to be with Heyman, start the bloodline, and he's got a deal where he like Brock, you only have so many dates.
Special attraction versus the weekly showcase.
Yeah. Aaron?
I think that Roman Reigns is basically what Brock Lesnar has been the better part of 12, 13 years now. Roman Reigns is a special attraction, and it's just a matter of using him in the right spots. I agree, Virtue, that he should be in the main events when he's around. If he's going to be available, he should be in the biggest program possible, whether it's with Seth Rollins or CM Punk. The match with Bronson Reed, it's filler. It is what it is. It's just to kill time until Survivor Series. They'll likely do the 5-on-5 War Games match with Roman Reigns' team versus Seth Rollins' team, something along those lines. And then Roman Reigns will get the WrestleMania push, and then it'll just be the same process until Roman Reigns decides to be done with wrestling. The Bronson Reed match, it's filler. I'd like to see them do something else, or at least, like you said, come up with some more creative ideas.
Like Reigns is distracted from titles because of shoes, and like Braun Breaker saying he's the new big dog. Like that's seriously going to distract.
Well, those
you.
are some expensive shoes, and you don't mess with another man's shoes.
$10-15 million a year, though. Like I mean, people know that, so it's like, all right,
but they're personal to him. Like he has sentimental attachment.
But see, that's the problem. They should have made him look like he was going back against Seth, wants a title shot, Cody, whatever. And then they've done a better job with making it personal with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, not just because they're Seth Rollins lackeys and Bronson Reed took his shoes off. You know what I mean? They should have, like I said, went to the home or beat him down in the parking lot. There's so many more layers they could have made it to where Reigns has this grudge with them, and it's okay that you ignore the main events right now because you got to settle this stuff. It just doesn't feel personal enough for me right now. I get the at least the WrestleMania stuff. It made sense. They had Heyman in the middle, Punk's deal to have Heyman walk out with them. It kind of rubbed Roman the wrong way. So that had a little element there that was intriguing. But since then, it's like, what are you doing, man? Roman should be going for the titles unless something is really pulling him back. And these somethings aren't pulling him back, in my opinion. I'm not buying it. And that's the problem. Like, I don't mind Roman buying time doing this kind of stuff, but it could be meant to mean so much more.
A better reasoning for it, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with the reasoning as far as having it be about the shoes and the tribal thief. That's silly. If they tweak the wording just a little bit differently, it could be Roman does want Seth, but he's having to run the gauntlet. He's got to go through Bronson.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Breaker.
Break the vision.
The one of the great stories that never gets talked about anymore is Lesnar's road to Angle at WrestleMania. He had to go through Shelton. He had to go through Charlie. He had to go through Paul in a cage match, which was ridiculous. But it made for a great story going into WrestleMania 19, which, had he not bumped his own head, could have been a little better. But, stories like that, and again, people kind of undersell that post-Attitude Era TV, but Ruthless Aggression was damn good stuff at times. I think a story like that would be better served because figure that Brock got screwed out of the title at Survivor Series. They may have pulled the trigger on this story a little early for that, but just having to be over the shoes does come off absolutely silly for Roman Reigns level.
Give us some more promos. Like,
right.
I want Roman battling Heyman on the mic. Eventually,
right?
I get it, right? They're protecting Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker probably aren't the greatest on the mic yet to go one-on-one with Reigns, but that's what you're aiming for. So give us some back and forth with Heyman and Roman a little bit more, and that just showing up and experiencing at the end. But Anyway, Aaron, we got to get to the next topic.
Well, last thing I
raise his
wanted to run by you before we move on. I know you don't do the predictions videos, so I wanted to ask you, how would you react if Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns clean at Clash in Paris?
It's you can't do that yet. If you're going to have somebody like Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed beat Roman clean, you have to already elevate them to a main event level, whether they win a Royal Rumble or a contract to get a title, something like that. Then on the big stage, that's when you do it. You don't do it at a show like this. It wouldn't make like it wouldn't. It would be a buzz for that night and the next morning, and then it would be like, really? That's what they did? I don't think it would long-term elevate anybody.
I mean,
so
it could.
I'm all for Roman elevating these guys, but you got to have it like a more meaningful.
It'd be
not because you got shoes of his and it's in Paris. There's nothing meaningful about that.
Nah.
It'd be like if Solo beat John Cena and then Solo didn't really get elevated from it.
Yeah, I mean now Solo has a U.S. title and that's kind of going, but like there was such a slop in between of him looking buried. The time you have to have the timing right. Yep. And like I said, this match just screams. Now I could see Bronson Reed winning in a dirty fashion, right, and cheating, or Braun Breaker coming out and costing Reigns, like so not a clean win, but clean. It would be very odd. It would almost be like his Reigns in the doghouse. Who'd he piss off? And he probably wouldn't do something like that unless it made sense and he knew everybody was going to benefit from it. He's too smart, too far along, too big of a contract. So he's got some political sway now, I think. But anyway.
Unless they're building war games far in advance, Lord forbid, with what you just said, the Vision versus Roman, Punk, Jay, Sammy, and LA Knight.
Aaron?
I've said my piece on it.
What? Said your piece?
What? I'm good.
Okay. Naomi. So she's obvious. So, hey, because work your way up to the top of the card and, as a female, get pregnant and screw your company over. I'm all for the next iteration of the bloodline, right? This is going to be Jimmy's kid, so this is great for the future, male or female. Maybe they'll be twins. Wouldn't that be funny, right? Twins. Jimmy has twins too. But you're the champion, and you have to relinquish your title. Now, Gino, you said you wanted to go first. So, these things happen, so I'm not going to go on too much of a rant. But, like, this has happened multiple times now where WWE's left having to have their champion drop a title, not from an injury, but because they're pregnant. And it's quite a long time before they're back. And what's weird is how they, she had her title, and for a minute there, I thought they were going to play it off like she wasn't going to give it back because she kind of went into the heel mode. But yet she still left the title in the ring anyway. You know what would have been more interesting? She told Adam Pearce to shove it. She's not going to relinquish her title. And, yeah, she's pregnant. She's got to take time off, but they're going to have to pry this out of my hand. And then she walked off with it, leaving everybody talking about what are they going to do.
Interim.
Yeah. And then, because I remember there's been a few times in history where there's been two champions for various reasons. Intercontinental, Punk and Rey Mysterio both had the WWE title, stuff like that. But Gino, I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Like, I could really, really piss a lot of people off and continue that rant of she's doing her company she's working for no justice. She should have told them ahead of time if they're going to try to have kids. And you would think that, if you're working in the environment you're working, contraception, birth control, this or that, and then you take time off and you do it the right way. But whatever, miracles happen. I'm not going to criticize it too much, but it is kind of weird that WWE pushes some of these females and then they're pregnant and they're gone. And that kind of is bad for their business because they're going to have to change direction on a whim. What do you have to say about this?
Okay. I'm going to compose myself here for a moment.
See?
Feel how anybody isn't totally entitled to feel how they want to feel. Let me just start this off with, it doesn't matter whether you're against this, you're pro it, whatever, doesn't matter. Anybody who is reaching out to her, criticizing her, or bullying her online, you need to get a life. You are worse than a mark. You are a toxic mark How dare you? Your little wrestling storyline pales into comparison to creating another human life. I think that if you're one of those people, you should crawl out of your mother's basement and touch grass, or better yet, the lines on a highway.
There you go.
It reminds me of the backlash that Scarlett Johansson got for being pregnant during the filming of Avengers: Age of Ultron. Plus, she's eventually going to come back and going to be thrust right into a potential better storyline, whether it's interim or whatever. She's going to be better than ever. Oh, but Gino, Becky wrestled pregnant, blah, 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 blah. Maybe so. But who are we to tell anybody, man, woman, whatever, that's pregnant later in life than typically happens, to put the risk and the health risk of her baby at risk for our entertainment? It's kind of bad timing. Absolutely. Does it matter to made up storylines? Absolutely not. She is doing great work right now, but they really haven't had anything for her other than her being a heel and her really finding herself in this character. She was the freaking third wheel in her last title defense. It was Rhea and Ia. So it's not even like they've got something juicy for her to chew on. She's just really doing well with this heel character. Maybe birth control is against her religion. Maybe they've been trying this whole time, and sometimes it just happens. That's the miracle of life. Similar to a legitimate injury that could be happening in bad timing. Think of Liv Morgan. Think of Finn Balor. Think of AJ Styles on his previous return. It's rare, if ever, that I rage on stream, but in honor of the first anniversary, I decided to bring out a little bit of Mean Gino energy on that, and I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to say that. Again, whether you agree, whether you disagree, that's the beauty of being able to discuss these things. But you guys, if you're reaching out to her directly, like, shame on you.
Well, any fans that troll or show up that break into houses and stalk, that they're all scum of the earth anyway. Does anybody remember when did Becky win the world title when she had come back from pregnancy? I can't remember.
She won she came back at SummerSlam. I was there in Vegas.
Yeah, you saw that. Bianca's 26 seconds.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. You won it, but I don't know. Like, this is not like this type of job is not a regular job. So you got to remember, like, don't be upset. You know, even if you didn't plan it and everybody's all happy and hunky dory, when she comes back, if they don't push her as strong because they're like, hey, you know, that's just, you could see a lot of wrong in that, but it happens, and you gotta, it's a business. And like I said, Becky came back and they still pushed her. I mean, now she's only the Intercontinental Champion, but it's just, it's very odd because obviously, you know, you get hurt and be out equally as well. So the people like Gino was talking about, the scum of the earth that they would call, like, I would not tweet Naomi and say, you're stupid, you should have knew better. No, but I look at it from the business aspect, and there is part of it. It's like, oh, come on, you know, like, you know, you and Jimmy just stay apart until this runs over. Then you guys can have at it and have all the kids you want. Like, I'm all about timing, right? But especially when you're older and you're not like young teenagers. But whatever. I mean, again, it's adding to the bloodline, so there is, you know, that excitement for down the road, and hopefully they, you know, become part of the business down the road, because that Samoan family, it's like they all do. Jeff, I'll go over to you next.
Yeah, I watched the little bonus episode of What's Your Story with Stephanie right after Raw last night, and it was mentioned in the chat room. They talked about her, you know, being basically medically disqualified her in her own mind about, you know, being able to have kids, all the setbacks they've had and all the fertility issues they've had. So it was literally okay, cool. And much like Becky did, they both defended at a major event. Becky defended at the pandemic WrestleMania, Naomi at SummerSlam, because she's been pregnant for 7 weeks now. So it's a little, you know, a little crazy that it's it was a miracle of life. Gino talked about it, and yeah, I agree with Gino. Anybody that's going on social media, especially Twix, you guys just can feel free to go all the way off, because you guys are soulless. You're more soulless than the Ginger here. I'll throw that out there. Very happy for her and Jimmy. Obviously, you know, it's never good timing unless you absolutely plan it out. you know, and a lot of us don't. I certainly didn't. So, but it does throw a wrench in the works. But you know what? To everybody's point, it's just like an injury. You know, if you look at it from the standpoint of it's the same basic thing as an injury. You know, injury, we're going to be out 10 months to a year for surgery. That's what's happening here. So just everybody needs to get the hell over themselves.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. All right. Noah.
I mean, what more is there to say? Simply put, you don't put a price or a negative outlook towards somebody else trying to breathe in new life. I feel like the biggest accomplishment towards humanity is trying to start a family. So I have nothing but absolute love, respect, and admiration, and congratulations for Naomi from a human standpoint. We're not here to just literally thrive in a business. We're here to literally lead or breed in the next generation. Boom. Jimmy and Naomi did that. Others could learn something from that, especially if they tried and were sensible. Again, I don't acknowledge the X like you all did, but I respect Gino because he's 110% correct. As far as your stance on the business virtue, yeah, timing is everything. She was on the run of her life, it's felt like, with this character development. But to Gino's point, how strong is a character and the championship if the champion is still pretty much the supporting act? At the end of the day, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are still the, if not the only, biggest main stars on Monday Night Raw for that entire women's division. Not even Becky Lynch or Nikki Bella can touch that, and it might be the only women's championship match now at Clash in Paris. I actually feel bad for thinking about Cure in this case, who was supposed to face off against Naomi for the championship. What do you do now? I know, let's book another triple threat. Good. But anyway, I'm happy for Naomi, but it just goes back to show once again, ever since really Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan have fell out of the women's championship picture, that title has had no clear direction or momentum, honestly, since. So they need to figure out what to do with that. I'm not sure what. But as far as the pregnancy thing goes, congratulations. I wish nothing but the best, but a healthy birth. And as far as Monday Night Raw, good luck on Paris figuring out a creative strategy for this one that doesn't involve circling the triple threat wheel that's been the story of the biggest shows of the year, not even regarding the championship sometimes. In this case, it might have to be.
If they, well, obviously they didn't know at the time, but it would have been cool if they, I mean, again, because if they found out she was pregnant before the Jade Cargill match, right? Was it Jade Cargill versus Naomi? Was that the match?
It was going to be Io last Monday. Io versus Naomi.
Easy versus
Who
Naomi.
did Jade Cargill lose to? Oh, that's right.
Tiffany Stratton.
So, Matt, so if Tiffany was in this situation that Naomi is, and what if that happens like within a month? Their two champions both have to go on maternity leave, but they
it'll be a town hall. All right, girls. It's
obviously if they knew that she's pregnant, they're not going to let them wrestle at that point. Right? You're wrestling, not knowing you're pregnant at that point. But it's like if you did know, well, go out there and put the other person over instead of having to relinquish your belt. But it makes it so awkward. Like last night, I thought it was awkward how she had to come out and address the crowd. Now I liked how she was trying to still be that heel.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just still ended up to the same destination. So I was kind of like, cool, she's going to walk out here with that title. She ain't giving it up. And then she still did. I guess that's my biggest – it's not the fact that she's pregnant while on top. Now she's got to go out and, hey, work a little smarter with your husband. And, if she had trouble making a baby and then they just, had a miracle, I'm all fine and dandy for that. I would have liked to see some more creative out of last night.
I hate
this surgery or you're out injured or pregnant and they come out and they have these moments in the ring. Like, to me, those are overplayed. Like, I would rather see an angle, like something cool. I would have loved to have seen her walk out. Like, I ain't giving this title to you, and then walk out to the back with it. And then when she's in the back, they're hounding her. They show footage of Adam Pearce. That to me would have been cool. And then she gets in the car with her title, and boom, they leave the arena, and then we're all left guessing. I guess that's the moral of what my brain is thinking with this.
He wants more edgy.
They could sign her off better in these type of situations. Yes, Gino.
Yeah, so I did want to mention it verbally on stream if people aren't watching the live chat. Apparently, she has spoken about only having one ovary, and it's really difficult for her to get pregnant. So that in and of itself would make it more of a surprise. but like they buried the lead. Having said all this, you know, speaking about the angle in the segment, they buried the lead with the Stephanie like podcast thing, and it was only a 15-minute podcast or 18-minute podcast. So it was like
That was weird.
that was weird. Yeah, like okay, they're trying to build some hype out of it and whatever, but like I don't know. That kind of took it away from me a little bit, for sure. But the chanting for Baby Uso, and I mentioned it in the chat, like the Baby Uso storyline is gonna outlast Dominic's longevity in wrestling, because Dominic's been wrestling for 20 plus years. Now Baby Uso is going to be in a storyline from conception, right?
And
So
both,
I mean,
both mom and dad are workers on TV. Make this baby part of the bloodline early. Don't mess around. Have Jimmy start saying, "We got a new, member of the bloodline," and I just want to see something creative with this. And they may
he could even start saying, "Proceed with caution."
Right?
I'll put you out too.
They might do
Maybe on
something
board.
else. But
Big
all right,
Jim will put you out.
Aaron, over to you. I think.
Yeah, I think everybody made some great points about this, fair points about the situation. Look, they probably didn't have much time to come up with something else, so they just had her go out there and relinquish the title and try to stay in the heel character, but you could tell she was struggling to keep it together as people were chanting Baby Uso and whatnot. I thought it was well done for what it was, and yeah, it's bad timing for her, but at the end of the day, it's a wrestling storyline. Having a baby is more important than a wrestling storyline. The family's doing well. Jimmy Uso's making money. Naomi's been making money. They're going to be well off. They're going to be in a good position. I'm sure she'll be pushed when she returns. It's not like she's going to be lost in the shuffle. They'll bring her back strong. I think they will. She'll be like Becky Lynch when she comes back. She'll be right back in the title picture. I'm not worried about that.
You can't say the same for Carmella. And
Carmella
she was a world
was
champion.
never. Carmella
She was a world
never at
champion.
Becky
She was a
Lynch's
world
level.
champion
On the B show. It was like the secondary title. Becky Lynch main evented WrestleMania and left with both titles, so she was different, a little bit different level than Carmella. Alexa had a little bit of trouble. You know, they didn't bring her back right away, so it's not a guarantee.
But she didn't leave pregnant, though. She went to have a baby. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But as we said,
kudos to Alexa Bliss, right? She did it the right way, right? I don't think she left pregnant, correct? She was already off.
I mean,
yeah.
Again, as mentioned,
what's that?
Naomi had the medical issues, and they didn't even know if she would be able to get pregnant. And yeah, she was about 7 weeks pregnant. So yeah, she got pregnant, I think, right before Evolution, but obviously isn't going to know for several weeks that she's pregnant. Probably didn't find out until a little over a week ago. So
if that,
yeah, they had to do what they did in a very short period of time.
It was not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before the Raw where she wasn't. So it was literally a little over a week ago.
Yeah. Now here's the key. The key now is what can they do to keep the title important and elevate it and make it meaningful coming out of this. That's going to be the real test to their creativity, how they can come back from this and make the title feel like a big deal. What are they going to just do, some random 4-way match or a 5-way match? Like, yeah. I hope they can come up with something creative to make the title feel important coming out of this. But I would have liked the idea of Naomi walking out with the title and refusing to give it up. And it was weird that she told Adam Pearce that she wasn't giving it up, and then she gave it up. So that was weird to me. But beyond that, I did like the segment, and we do have some super chats here, so let's get to those because Psycho Jet Black is in the house.
And he's on a roll.
Yeah, he is.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, "There's a reason they called him Big Jim. Go Naomi." Thank you for that.
It took Big Jim to derail the women's champion, not anybody in the actual division. So good on him.
There you go. Big Jim did his job. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat and says, Hogan voice. "Let me tell you something, Mean Gino." That's going to be your new nickname, Gino. Mean Gino.
Mean Gino, brother.
Mean Gino.
I like it. Thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat, says, "Aaron, will Naomi join the bloodline now?"
Well, the kid might.
She did.
Her son or daughter will join the bloodline.
She's helping prolong it, so she has
She
to.
had never said bloodline before until last night. So as far as I'm concerned, She's in it.
Yeah, there you go. She's in the bloodline.
Y'all got your
now.
wish. Y'all got your wish finally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they should if Naomi and Jimmy are cool
Nia
with it,
Jax.
like
Oh.
they should have the kid like be like the I'm not sure what I'm looking for here, but like they worship the kid, like all the bloodline members like look to the kid for advice, or the kid is there and they kind of like look up to the kid like he's the tribal chief in a way.
Next tribal chief.
Yeah. The heir to the throne.
The heir to the throne, but he's almost
Well,
like
it could be a she too. So
The
she,
tiniest
tiniest
yeah.
rule of Fala will be its crowning.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Big Jim's catchphrase, I want my baby back ribs. What do you think of that one, Jeff? You a fan of Chili's baby back ribs?
next,
I do like Chili's, but no.
I do like Chili's baby back ribs. I will say that much. All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Big Jim always gets the 3-count pinfall. What do you guys think of that one?
yeah, he's had better nights so far. Like,
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, will Big Jim get a major push or heat for his part? Why
How
would
do you
he
give
get
the guy heat for this? That's bullshit, man.
He's gonna get good
That's
heat.
messed
He's
up.
gonna get good heat.
heat, but like I don't know. I mean, we know Triple H is still kind of quirky because like the Karrion Kross thing, and that Bruce Pritchard's still there, but I don't think that it's not that culture anymore where someone would get heat for this like that.
Yeah. Besides,
He's kind of
helping-
already been the lowest man on the totem pole from all the bloodline stuff, So
As long as he doesn't,
what else?
and drive. So
What else could they do to bury Jimmy more than they already have? I think he'll be fine. If anything, he'll get a push out of this.
Yep.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Baby Uso is already more over than Austin Theory. Damn.
Damn,
the
can we
views
have
expressed in
one
our
week?
super chats do
One
not
week.
unnecessarily reflect those of the NoDQ panelists.
I agree.
Well, I mean, when's the last time we got an Austin Theory chant? Just saying.
JJ.
Austin Theory chants are practically
When he was last
non-existent.
on TV, he was getting chanted at because Grayson was wrestling and Theory was on the outside. Now that he's off TV and Big G is wearing his morning outfits.
No,
I know. He's not
we
Big
do
G.
not call
No,
Grayson
no,
Waller
no.
Big G.
Oh, you just ruined your anniversary show, Gino. No.
You had a good run, Mean Gino.
Don't
All right,
fire
we
him.
got
Oh,
one
geez.
here from Psycho Jet Black. Here we go, another one. Big Jim did not proceed with caution.
Oh no, he even said that on Stephanie's show. He did not proceed with caution.
No,
In.
there's a baby on board.
Yeah, if anything,
Little
he's going to
diamond
be
sign
more
on that.
over now for knocking up Naomi. Like he's going to be even more popular with the fans.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Big
gotta
Jim always hits the
capitalize on it.
mark.
Right. Big Jim always hits the mark. All right, Psycho
Golly.
Jet Black sent it a $2 super chat. Says
Okay.
if Vince McMahon was in charge, it would be Big Jim versus Snitsky.
Damn.
It wasn't his fault.
It was not his fault.
It
Took the
was
words
not his
out of my
fault.
mouth.
100% Jim's fault.
I wonder if we'll
Boy.
ever see a Snitsky return and
God,
you know,
don't put
punt
that.
another baby.
You know
He
what?
did a podcast with CDV pretty recently,
gonna say,
and I
yeah,
didn't
it
think
wasn't
he
too
was
long
still in
ago,
the
and
public eye.
Wait, yeah, he's kind of like still dabbling, but not like he was. It's too
All
People
right,
still
we got
ask him to
one here.
sign baby dolls and stuff.
They do,
So,
it's
I mean, that's
creepy as shit.
hilarious.
I've seen him do it in person.
That's hilarious.
Creepy.
All right, we got one here from City by the Bay who sent in $2. City by the Bay, big Virtue fan, says if EO didn't have strong enough accent, easily a megastar. Why is that in quotes? So I guess that's how the super chats are presented now on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
I mean,
they are.
she's already a megastar. That's what's impressive about her is that even despite the broken English, like she's still incredibly over with the fans. I mean, that's how good of a wrestler she is, that she can overcome that. And she's got enough personality and skills that she's been able to do well. Yeah, there you go.
Plus,
She
being
got
paired
that
with
taunt over.
Being paired with Rhea Ripley also helps as well.
Yeah. No, I think Io's been great. And if anything, she's proof that you don't need to be able to talk fluently in English. And I mean, there have been plenty of guys like Bill Goldberg rarely talked and he got over. So people can get over without talking. I mean, it is possible. It helps if you can cut a good promo, but it's not mandatory for every single person on the roster. You know,
Well, you just
sometimes you
got a
can
catchphrase.
find other ways
Maybe
to
give her
connect
a
with
mouthpiece like they did with Julia. That's what I've been I think that, but she's really obviously trying to do her best by herself. And I honestly am starting to really respect that, to be honest. So,
Same.
Yeah. No, I think she's doing great. Tito, Mr. Tito is here. Shout out to Mr. Tito. Tito says, Rodney Dangerfield quote, best thing about kids is making them.
Accurate.
There you go. Jeff Meacham approves that message. Thank you for that, Jeff. Thank you, Mr. Tito.
I love my kid, but yeah.
Mr. Tito, check out his columns over on NoDQ.com.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, we're all cut up, Virtue.
All right, main event time. So we know that WWE seems like they, are going out of their way to counter program big AEW events. And it's just, back when AEW was kind of just going, and they're up against NXT, AEW was beating them. I mean, NXT was the developmental. And now it just seems like obviously they're not a threat to WWE based on all the income that WWE has, all the connections they have. But it is still the secondary promotion right now in the world, popular-wise. I mean, they do have a TV deal. It's nowhere close to any of the WWE TV deals, but it's still a TV deal. And then their big pay-per-views do pretty well on the buy rates. The old-fashioned style with the big old $50 mark or whatever. But, let's seriously discuss this because, Vince McMahon, right, he went out of his way to put his competition out of business back in the day. He bought ECW. He bought ECW. He bought WCW. I just feel that something about AEW rubs maybe Nick Khan, maybe – I don't know, the TKO group the wrong way, and they're going out of their way. So let's chat about this. Noah, I'm going to start with you. I know you're like all great wrestling should have a platform, and if they go against each other head to head, great. The wrestling fans will be able. You might only be able to watch one live, but you can go back and watch the other one. But I don't know. I'm just getting that sneaking suspicion like WWE wants to. I mean, look at their partnerships with AAA. Didn't AEW have one with CML or that other Mexican league first? And then, of course, AEW New Japan, and even for a small time TNA. Well, now TNA and WWE are in bed together. WWE owns AAA, and it's just like the promoting of scheduling shows against AEW's big shows. Something seems a little fishy to me here, and I don't know if it's just like they're doing it and it's a coincidence. Like I feel like, the evil empire, even though Vince isn't there anymore, still got a bunch of billionaires and a big group that runs them. I don't know, Noah. What do you think here?
Well, considering how I talked about how I just look at all things wrestling, there are more choices and you can choose what you watch live versus on demand. It does seem more commonplace now and coincidental, if one should say, that WWE is trying to counter program every AEW every pay-per-view night they can almost the rest of the year. And if it's not NXT, they're now trying to do it with TNA, it seems, even to the point they're trying to get TNA to run up against Dynamite, which is wild in itself. It almost feels like to me there is some sort of lingering principle that we must make sure WWE is the only thing. We are the must-see, the first-see, the only thing you see, etc. While at the end of the day, AEW and others are just like, watch us if you choose us to. But it does feel more like a greedy business than a competitive business when it comes to WWE trying to pigeonhole everybody else. And yeah, AEW is the only other one with that TV type deal, outlook, and exposure. Then again, there also, for all we know, could be that lingering, oh, I got Will Ospreay. Oh, this W superstar is doing better here than he did over here. I do think there's a little bit of envy and pettiness with the decision making from somebody in WWE. I'm just not sure who, whether it's Nick Khan, who I think controls more of the locations and the directions, or Paul Levesque, who at the end of the day may not just like what AEW is on its forefront. But the way I see it is this: we're just going to have to continue to see what happens, and it does feel like they are going to force your hand. So if the product doesn't drive you away, the price might, considering what WWE's doing now with PLAs and ESPN. But I do feel like WWE is trying to start another unnecessary war in media rights. And again, why? You already have so much revenue. You have every outlet imaginable except Warner Bros. Discovery at this point. What else do you have to gain besides hurting the wrestling business? People are still mad at WWE when it came to NXT UK collapsing the European independent front, and it took a long time for that to recover. But I do think there is some pettiness now in WWE's business making, and it annoys me, but I'm not going to let it dictate me or make me turn into a tribalistic keyboard warrior like some people are, because at the end of the day, I'm an AEW fan. I'm going to watch AEW more prolifically than WWE. But for example, this Sunday, I'm covering both AEW Indoor and NXT Heatwave back-to-back live. So it can be done. You can enjoy both. But if you're an AEW fan, why the do you care if WWE is kind of programming you if you're not going to watch it? If you're a WWE fan, why the do you care that AEW is kind of programming you if you're not going to watch it? But this definitely stems from the higher ups that I think wants to make sure AEW is the farthest thing from a wrestling fan's spot. I hope that I'm wrong, but it's starting to feel more and more like that. And it wouldn't surprise me come as soon as I hear about Revolution. Here's WWE presenting Fastlane.
And I didn't really think that this was something WWE was trying to proactively do, because I know AEW originally had a TV deal with, what is it, Warner Brothers Discovery?
Correct.
But then their newest one was bigger, so it grew.
Mm-hmm.
And, look at WWE. I mean, ESPN, the CW, Netflix, USA, Peacock. TKO has UFC now, going to Paramount and CBS, and then of course ESPN for WWE pay-per-views. And it's like we're the king of streaming. Like, who is this other wrestling promotion that's getting Warner Brothers Discovery money? That's somebody we should negotiate with. It's weird when AEW got their latest deal. I feel like WWE's went out of their way now to, it seems like, counter program. Business is ruthless. But Gino, what do you have to say about this?
Thank you, Virtue. Forgive any background noise you might hear. It is storming Norman outside right now.
Whose
Hope I don't
phone was
disconnect.
that?
Not mine. I don't think I've had my phone on volume in a decade. But anyway,
Same.
so Virtue, you mentioned Nick Khan, and I think it's pretty obvious. He's jealous that he isn't the most famous Khan in wrestling anymore. All right. Yeah,
Damn it.
I'm only half joking about that because you brought it up. But in reality, any company is going to try to put its competitor out of business, especially when, in this particular case, it doesn't seem like WWE will face any monopoly penalties from the federal government. AEW's whole gimmick when they started was to put WWE out of business. So if you don't want the smoke, don't take the pot. However, it is kind of a bad look for WWE for those who know that they're intentionally counter-programming AEW. It comes across as petty and honestly makes me feel that WWE thinks of AEW as a threat. So AEW and AEW fans should be honored, right? Yeah. They are punching down for sure, but it's kind of showing that they respect AEW in a sense. So fans of either product or both, right? They're going to watch both, whether they're on the same time or not. They're going to just watch them at different times, whether it's live or not live. With these streaming things, they really count views in the first 24 hours anyway, as we saw last night with the AAA Mania stuff. They really take those first 24 hours. So it's not even really about who watched it live. It's within the first 24 hours. Now look at the Monday Night Wars, right? There were two companies going head to head, and they were both, WCW had the 80-plus week run, and WWE ended up winning, right? So you can have two things going on at the same time. fans of whatever are going to find the product. Frankly, AEW is never going to go out of business. It's funded by one man and his father, essentially, and they're never going to run out of money. The only way that will stop is if Papa Khan stops it himself. Also, real quick, what the heck would WWE do with all of these extra wrestlers becoming free agents? They already have a super saturated roster. Like, so you just want the wrestlers to not have jobs and be able to feed their families. Is kind of how it comes across. You got two kind of Mean Gino segments on this, guys. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Gino. Jeff, maybe it's not they're trying to put them out of business, but it's just cockiness at this point. All the deals that WWE has landed with all the streaming with Saudi Arabia, fans paying a ridiculous amount of money now for tickets, even the nosebleeds.
Yep.
And they feel like they're just cocky and they want it all. And I know it's weird to say this because Vince McMahon, this is something you would expect from him, and he's not there. So, again, it's just the business in general, TKO wanting to dominate the sport. I mean, UFC, you don't hear much of other MMA groups, right? I mean, so I think UFC's kind of done that in their field over the years, right? They're the dominant one. It's just I think it's the mindset and the mentality, Jeff.
100% is. I almost never say MMA. I always say Ultimate Fighting or UFC. That's how it's always been verbalized, at least from my perspective. Bischoff talked about this a long time ago. When Hogan joined WCW, they still had to fight to get the media to say WCW. So it is very much a brand identity, market cornering thing. And they don't have to be worried about the federal monopoly thing now because they're all under that umbrella, the TKO umbrella. I think it's a couple of things. I think it's business. I think it is just them wanting to dominate that market. And do they really need to move TNA to Wednesday nights? No, they don't, but they can. I personally think they should leave it on Thursdays and just push the hell out of it or even outright buy it. That way WWE has programming on every single weeknight.
Yep.
If you count Evolve. So I say just leave it on Thursdays and just say, we're on every weeknight. How are you guys doing down there in Jacksonville? Yeah, anyway. But I think it also is a little personal from Hunter's perspective, or Paul's perspective, sorry, because of Tony calling his father-in-law the Harvey Weinstein of wrestling. Whether Hunter agrees with what's going on with his father-in-law or not, that's a pretty nasty shot to levy. And if I'm Paul Levesque, I'm going, all right, you little curly-headed creep, and just firing back at him and putting you down. So I think it is a mixture of both. I don't know anybody well enough to make an educated guess, but from my perspective, that's what it comes off like. And I don't know if this has been mentioned in the chat yet, so forgive me. The most famous Khan is not Tony or Nick. It's Khan from Star Trek, damn it.
Yeah. Jeff, you think
I was mentioning specifically wrestling, but yes, you're
wrestling-wise, yes, I'll agree with that.
There's been any intel? You think there's been any intel because Cody used to be at a higher level in AEW, EVP, and all that, and then when he came over, he's like, "Hey, this is their vision. This is their plan. This is what they want to do," and it could have been like, "Become you and better than you," like we did the WCW back in the day. I don't know. It's just Cody was there, and now he's the big player in WWE. I'm sure they talked. What I mean is Cody and Triple H in the uppers.
Yeah. That little bit of optimist in me wants to go, no, Cody wouldn't do that.
No, I know.
but then I remember that Cody is Dusty Rhodes' son, and Dusty was a major player, and he'd do everything he could, baby, to make sure they were on top of the world. So absolutely, I believe that happened. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, thanks, Jeff. Okay, Aaron.
Super chats. Here we go.
Everybody made some great points about this. WWE is, in fact, running a business. Their goal is to make money. So this really comes as no surprise to me. Now, I think wrestling at its peak was during the Monday Night War era, and that was when there was a war. Two companies were going back and forth and trying to outdo the other one. I think competition is the best thing for business. Do I like it? Not necessarily, because when these shows are head-to-head, it makes my job a lot more difficult. But if this leads to more fans watching and being invested, and maybe even new fans being created from this, then I think it's a positive. If it brings the best out of AEW and they feel the pressure and they go all out even more to put on the best show possible, and they really do with their pay-per-views, but maybe with their TV shows. I'm more interested about the TNA going head-to-head with Dynamite if that happens. Like, I'm really curious about that, because if TNA could do well and have numbers comparable to AEW might have to shake up their show a little bit. Like, I've said this about AEW. My biggest criticism of them right now is that the weekly shows feel very uneventful to me, and there's not much unexpected things happening during the weekly television shows. We just have our wrestling matches, which is fine if you like just straight up wrestling, but I like to tune into the show and have no idea what's going to happen. I like the twists and turns and being on the edge of my seat, and I just don't feel that way with Dynamite week to week. I think the pay-per-views are great, but the weekly shows, they're hit and miss for me. And if TNA goes on Wednesday nights and they cause AEW's numbers to drop a little bit, AEW might have to shake things up a little bit. They got their TV deal, but that's not going to last forever. At some point, they're going to be up for a renewal on that, and they're going to want to get an even better deal after that. AEW wants to grow their audience and get more viewers. So I'm hopeful that this will lead to a larger fan base, have more people watching wrestling, have more people go to NoDQ.com. That would be great for me if new people were coming on and checking out the NoDQ review. If it gets people more hyped for wrestling, then I'm all for it. But I also fear at the same time that WWE is oversaturating the marketplace. There's already too many shows. You got all these AEW shows, you got the TNA shows, and for me, there's only so much you can watch, and I do fear that too much could also turn off some people, even though they do have the choice to watch or not. I look back towards the end of the Monday Night War. Remember, Raw was 1 hour, and Nitro was 1 hour when it got started, and then by the end, you had 3 hours of Nitro, 2 hours of Thunder, 2 hour Raws, 2 hour SmackDowns, and it became a bit much, and things cooled
1 hour
off.
Heat.
Yeah, 1
and
hour
then Sunday Night Heat.
the side shows, the quarterly ECW pay-per-views, ECW television until the very, very end. Yeah, it got, but to counter that, Noah's fandom calls your bullshit because he watches it.
But I am a firm believer in less is more, if you know where I'm coming from with that.
I do agree about that. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta you don't want to just put out content for the sake of putting out content. You want to keep people wanting more. You give them something, but then you want to have them wait a little bit. And back then, like in '98, I'd watch Raw and I'd have to wait another week before the next live WWE show, and I'd have to think about it, fantasy book. But now it's like Monday night we got a show, Tuesday night we got a show, Wednesday night we got a show, Thursday night, and you never have time to really digest what you're watching and be able to have a week to think about it, because the next show is coming up right around the corner and it's just nonstop every single night. And it's hard to really get invested when there's just so much out there, and it's really hard to focus on one particular thing. But to those that do it and love it, more power to you. So that's my take on all that. And I'm interested to see how this all plays out. But we do have some super chats to get to now. So let's go ahead and get to those. Psycho Jet Black had to contribute. Psycho Jet Black said Big Jim is the new genetic jackhammer.
Well, y'all understand that when Vince said that, he was already in his late 50s, right? Like, it's not
Yeah.
And Vince was probably still a genetic jackhammer at that point.
Well, it depends how the lawsuit turns out. We'll see.
I mean, he might still be now. At 80 years old, he might still be a genetic jackhammer.
God.
As Fred Sanford said, he's a horny old man until he's a dead old man.
Oh my God. Next super chat, which is not going to get any better, I know, but it's okay.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a
Jeff.
$2 super chat. Says the most famous con
there you go.
is the Star Trek con. I have no idea who that is.
It's a reference.
It's the villain. It's a villain in Star Trek.
Villain from the
But you were
first-
right, Jeff. This next super chat wasn't.
Who's the
any
guy
better.
that does like the the V or whatever.
That's Spock. He's one of the.
That's
main
the only
characters.
guy I know.
I know. It's okay, Aaron.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you.
That's the only guy I know from Star Trek.
That's
I like
even
Star
do
Trek
that.
about as much as
You
I
don't
like
know
Star
Captain
Wars.
Kirk?
Yeah.
William Shatner?
Oh,
the
William
master-
Shatner. Okay,
the
I know
original
him.
Michael Myers?
Of all the
I
souls,
know.
his was the most
two
human.
people. Two
Okay.
people.
That's a great cut for you about the Michael Myers mask. That's a deep cut. I
What
like
about beam me up, Scotty? Nothing. Okay, all right.
I've
next
heard
time.
that phrase before.
That's
Yeah.
rough.
Same. Never watched it.
Psycho
Me
Jet
either.
Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Psycho says Tony Khan versus Nick Khan versus Star Trek Khan versus Khan from King of the Hill versus Genghis Khan in a Khan in the Bank ladder match.
Good
Hey,
lord.
what about King Khan versus Godzilla? Oh, wait, never mind.
Well,
Yeah. No, Shao Kahn.
Donkey Khan.
Shao Kahn from
That's right. Donkey
Mortal
Kong.
Kombat.
There you go. All that bonanza
WWE
power.
2K25. I got to download. I'll tell you what, if I can download all those characters on
Oh,
WWE
God, please put that
2K25
up.
on the Switch,
Hate
I'll
that.
simulate that match and put it up on the channel.
Dude, no one I
Just
will
for
call
you,
that
Psycho Jet
match.
Black.
Swear to God, we
Screen
will.
cap. Screen cap that.
Make it happen.
Yeah, but I have to find the CAWs. If I can do that,
Yeah.
then maybe we'll have that on the
No, I
NoDQ
would totally call color commentary with you on that one. Absolutely.
at some
game.
point. Anyways,
I'm always going to call anything.
I've said my piece on that. Great discussion, guys. I think we are caught up.
Good. Let's go
but
around
not-
and let's
Oh,
close
Virtue.
it. What?
I love that level on DK Bonanza, the one that you said you like, the one that's
Oh,
kind
where
of
you
like the luncheon.
had to make the big hamburger, cheeseburger.
Well, we haven't gotten that far
Oh.
yet, so you just spoiled me.
Spoilers.
Damn it.
We
But-
only got to the start of that level, but it's a great level. I
You
mean,
spoiled
that's
a
an
race.
awesome
You,
game.
you told me a level I wasn't at yet had a race, so that now we're even.
Oh, that very true. You're
Yes.
right about
All
that.
right,
Well,
let's go
life
around
will
and
be.
do our
We'll help
last
you there.
plugs. All right, Noah.
People want to engage further with me or see me call everything wrestling with my own play-by-play commentary. Find me on the X primarily and Foster1916. Also on YouTube and Foster1916. I'll be doing predictions for both AEW Forbidden Door and NXT Heatwave later in the week. And Gino and I might do some post-mortem analysis regarding both Not Either shows. And of course, I'm covering both shows because I'm crazy. So stay tuned Sunday where me and I believe Walter are calling both AEW Forbidden Door and NXT Heatwave. And as long as time works for me, I'll see you next time on the review. And as always, just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling too. It is truly as simple as that.
Thank you, Noah. All right, Jeff.
All right. So prior to today's review, I recorded over an hour interview with my good buddy Ariel Belvalere, talked about her career in music, her life story, and promoted her birthday show coming up a week from Saturday. That will go live on Friday, the 22nd, this coming Friday, just after SmackDown. I said 10 p.m. on the show, but it's actually going to be 11 p.m. Eastern. And, of course, you can find me on the socials, _Jeff Meacham, and then Jeff Meacham on Facebook. And, again, relaunching the YouTube channel in January. So stick around for more content like that interview coming in January. Noah, are you calling the GCW show on Sunday too, or is that going to be somebody else on the team?
That's going to be somebody else. They got me on the big shows.
But as you should be, my God. So, very good.
Thanks, Jeff. Gino.
Yeah, if you guys want to catch me talking wrestling, playing live stream video games, Rocket League, whatever, joining Aaron Sunday nights on when we're playing against each other, just go to my YouTube, Papagino0017. City by the Bay is helping out so much by being supportive over there. The NoDQ Galaxy that Aaron, Jeff, ORM, Virtue, everybody has helped create. You guys are the best community online, talking wrestling and doing anything really. And I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. So, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gino. Aaron.
I'm surprised nobody wants to sponsor next week's episode 350 warm-up, but we'll do a warm-up for next week's 350. It's going to be a fun stream, I'm sure. We'll have to figure out if we're doing a rotating panel, if we're going to have rotating moderators. We might have a lot of heated debate. Maybe we can get Mr. Tito to bust out the old mask and attire. And make sure you guys check out the streams that we've done, Tito and Gino. We did Mario Party the other week. We did Smash Brothers. Piranha Plant destroyed us. It is what it is. Maybe
That game
next
is
time.
so rigged.
Well, it's rigged?
I think it's rigged.
It could be.
That's what somebody who's bad at the game might say when they're losing. Sorry, Noah. I had to throw that in.
I barely play it, but one day we'll see.
Noah gets ribbed one week and trolled the next week on this show.
It's always rigged unless you're the winner. Then it's not rigged.
They come down a bonus.
Hence why
spot
I'm
here.
defending it.
All right, guys, that's all I got. Have a great night. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Looks like Tito's not going to partake. He said nah.
Aww.
So that's that. Tito bowing out.
Gino, if you're – oh, wait, no. You said Colorad's Byron next week.
If it's not Colin, then it's going to be me. And we'll be dressed to the nines for the 350. So
I am not mask obligated next week on Tuesday. So
Are we going to get the scooter next week?
you know what? Even though I'm not working, I will have the scooter on the show next week. Yes.
We love that
Jeff
scooter.
Meacham Malkoff
Jeff,
next
more
week.
Jeff on the scooter for the NoDQ review.
That's
I'm
what
here
we
And I
for
got.
it.
hope
Why
the
not?
real Big G will be here. Is the real Big G going to be in the house next week?
The original Big G one. That's right.
The ball up.
Yes.
He was supposed to be on tonight and he couldn't. So
Well, maybe next week
Busy
we'll get
man,
the
that
real
Gino.
Big G on. Mean Gino will be with us. Good old JM. Noah, are you going to be with us next week?
As of right now, my schedule has been only working till 5:30 on Tuesdays. For the foreseeable future, absolutely.
All right. So the Simple Man should be with us, and maybe we'll have a few other surprise guests. We'll see who else shows up. Tune in next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, for episode 350. Virtue will go ahead and wrap it up with you.
follow me on x.com if you dare at NoDQ_virtue. And I will call you a mark. I will chase you away with my political satire banter and anything like that. We can even discuss the weather. Hurricane Aaron. But that is it. Go check out the merch. I'm Aaron, E-R-I-N, though. The feed.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Caitlin's best friend.
NoDQ.com/merch. That's it.
You're going to get in trouble.
For Noah, for Gino, for Jeff, for Aaron, for Colin, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.